$500,000, sometimes even $1 million, which like inclusive of bonus.
How can I make as much money as possible with a job in crypto with working as little as possible?
Average annual is about 100K.
Hi everyone, today I am with my good friend Raman, and I can actually say the word friends because we met in real life before knowing each other online. The CEO and founder of Crypto Job List. So we're gonna get tons of insight on how to make money in crypto, and I would like if we can make money easily, of course. And we're gonna talk about North Korea, how they make a bunch of money in the world of crypto jobs. Welcome here, Raman. How are you today?
I'm doing great, Antoine. Thank you so much for having me. Super excited to do this call after hanging out in person so many times.
Yeah. So my first question is going to be a really French question. How can I make as much money as possible with a job in crypto with working as little as possible? Because your website, Crypto Job List, is one of the biggest job board in crypto. One of the most popular one, actually. When I saw you at Token conference, tons of people, they say they were looking at jobs on it. And personally, if I was looking for a job, I want to know, like, how can I make money without working much? So what's your take on that? Like,
wow. I kind of usually recommend working as much as you can, the opposite. So I'm going to break the pattern a little bit here. I'm sorry, guys, you got to work. But okay, let me try to answer this, how to do as little work as possible. Be very efficient, perhaps. Be an engineer, perhaps. Copy paste a bunch of your code. Use ChatGPT, Claude, all these tools as little as possible. What else is there? 10x leverage stuff? No, don't do that. 20x.
But maybe let me change my question. Because there's always a market of like supply of talents and demand of talent. There's the biggest gap where I know that if I have those skills, I can get a high paycheck because there's not many people that can fulfill this position.
Mm-hmm. I think people in almost every single niche that are really, really good would get a little bit of a multiplier to their salary. And not a lot of people are very good. I think that's the unfortunate reality. A lot of people are relatively mediocre. But on average, I think engineering is that area. Like, I think a lot of Rust engineers these days, Golang engineers. I think Rusting, because of like Solana is popular these days. So a lot of people want to launch stuff there. But if you're a really good engineer, you're going to be hired. If you're like protocol level engineer, you're going to be hired. If you, basically low level stuff, architecture experience, but it's not something that you would learn in a boot camp. It's usually coming from some background of working in a crypto already, working in exchange, working on some of the high performance systems. It's not your junior or it's not even like even senior roles, right? Like if you're a senior engineer today, maybe you're, maybe your ego is, nice and warm because you have senior in your title, but in reality is for a lot of exchanges and crypto companies, maybe you might not be senior enough. It's on Twitter, it's all memes and stuff, but in reality it is much more, it's a very serious business. a lot of things at stake. You need to be trusted. If you make a mistake, crypto is at stake that can be, lost, and good luck recovering it. Where else can you make a lot of money? I think being a BD, a really good BD.
Yeah.
Is something
BD
that
stands for business developer.
Correct, business developer, business development,
so what is
sales.
the difference between a business developer and like a marketer then?
Right. So good question. I think a lot of people sometimes confuse, and the reality is in different companies. These titles, they overlap sometimes, especially if it's a very early stage company. It's going to be a lot of overlap there. BD, business development people, they usually talk directly to other projects. They look for partnership opportunities. They look for ways that to cross-sell, to integrate, to kind of like develop the business further, develop the growth of the business further. And again, it really depends on what kind of company it is. If it's a DeFi protocol, if it's a meme coin, if it's NFT, if it's a exchange. The BD responsibilities will quite differ among these different types of companies. But in a nutshell, it's more about creating partnerships, excelling, growing a business, maybe creating some like sales pipeline, or creating like whatever channel partners where you can, integrate with other projects for marketing, or integrate for other projects for more liquidity, you name it, right? Versus marketing is more about like, how can we blast our project to our relevant audience? How can we get as many target customers to use us? How do we get people to ape into our coin? How do we get users of our analytics product to use our product? It's usually marketing is like very top of the line. It's your Twitter, it's your events, it's SEO, it's content, it's being on YouTube. So those usually a bit like, speaking to the masses, versus business development. They usually speak directly to one person or like a few people, and they try to convince them to do something. That's the description.
So what's the salary like for a BD or for an engineer?
Right. I'm gonna, cheat a bit and look at my own platform to look for salary stats.
You can share your screen, so like this they can see how it is. And then I saw you had a cool dashboard with tons of data just before. So
let me do that.
I would love to see that. Love data more than anything.
What about money? Do you like money more than data?
I have money. Technically, it's just data now.
That's right, in someone else's database, so it's someone else's SQLite. Okay, so just really quick, so people don't get too confused. This is our website. We have this like salary section where you can submit your salary, and it's anonymous submission. Once it gets approved, usually takes like a few minutes to a day to approve, depending how legit amount of data you submit. And then you get access to a bunch of kind of aggregates and other information. This is kind of like, when you're not logged in, you'll see it blurred out. When you're logged in, you will see it.
Can you imagine the guy who submitted and just see probably underpaid?
Probably underpaid. Shit. Yeah, let me actually log in. Yeah, let me. I think we'll talk about salary expectations. I think something that we should cover, because I feel people have really wild expectations from their salary.
Yeah.
Let's get into. Let me first answer your first question about product people. So average annual is about 100K. And again,
that's perfect.
Yeah, but it can, it goes all the way to
the best.
Also high output. It depends. Maybe like for legal, we actually might have a lower number of records, because I guess that usually companies in crypto, they do not have in-house legal department unless you're an exchange. Usually they outsource it to legal companies, and legal companies, they're a bit their own kind of like silo somewhat. Developers 150K P2, but again, these are averages, right? Yeah. BD product. Where is BD? There is no BD here. Developer business.
Plus,
development.
like somehow I would think that but BD will be in sales, I guess. But somehow I guess people in sales will cheat on their salary. Don't know. Just feel like they will just mark it up a little bit.
Yeah, potentially. Let's see. I think one thing that I want to commend, I think really important thing to understand to a lot of people, is that people, especially I guess in crypto, they would hear some outrageous number that is shared on Twitter or on whatever, in the news, in the media, and then they will cling to that number. They will like, oh, this developer is getting whatever, $500,000 a year, or that is the salary, right? And everyone's like, oh my God, I heard like this is the salary, the going salary for developers. And then they will keep that thing in mind, and they're based, maybe they're just out of boot camp, or maybe they even like so claimed senior engineers. And then they were like, oh, I'm good as well. Like I should be getting $500,000 as well. But the reality is like, one, those things that go viral and the news articles, they're usually clickbait. Some company would usually publish something like this just to get attention, just to get people in the door. That's one to remember. Two, a lot of these roles, they're not necessarily gonna stay around for even a year, right? So especially during bull market, people will advertise crazy salaries for every single role. Whatever, community manager earning 12K. I don't think it's realistic unless you're a super senior community manager, but they will get this 12K. You don't know for how long this company gonna stay around, right? So it's something to keep in mind. Maybe you can be earning like legit those 12K a month as a community manager, but that job can disappear in a month because maybe, I don't know, founders rug your project, project is legit, but it still goes out of business for whatever reason, or just bear market starts. So don't look at those salaries that they are going to be there forever for you. But again, there are still some roles that are legitimately okay. This is if it's a really big funded project, if it's like, I don't know, L1, L2, an exchange, $500,000, sometimes even $1 million, which like inclusive of bonus is, I've heard those cases. But again, those are usually like pretty much founding engineers, really core team. Every project has maybe like 1 or 2 or 3 of them, but those roles are not like thousands of them, right? So I would recommend everyone to be a bit more realistic when it comes to salaries. Sure, you can be opportunistic during bull market if someone's offering, but again, don't like manage your expectations. You know that it can be probably gambling there.
I would say like when you work in crypto, like personally, it's like, you're going to make a lot of money doing bull market, but don't forget that you're going to have bear market for 2-3 years. So you can divide how much you make per 3 almost. Because unless, like, I mean, it depends how adaptable you are, then you can shift to another industry. But it's like, you got to know that.
Yep. We had some job trends here. If it's relevant, some very fresh dashboard that I've been working on. Need to still improve it. Let me know what we can do to improve it. Some of the top roles. Business development is actually high up, but again, this is a little bit off, I think, this number, because I'm still working on structuring this analytics. Engineering roles are the most ones, but like I need to improve the segmentation here. Ops designer.
Golang, which blockchain or project works in Golang?
To my memory, no smart contracts are written in Golang. It's not really a smart contract language. It's more a systems language, and exchanges would hire that. I'm not sure if Tendermint is using Golang. Tendermint is like consensus protocol. Tendermint, let's see. Yeah, it is written in Go. Tendermint core is written in Go. So a lot of roles that building nodes, building L2s, building some distributed node systems, they would be written in Go quite often. I mean, just generally, even outside of crypto, it's one of the most popular languages right now, just because it is highly performant. Rust is getting up there. Rust is a bit harder to learn, harder to wrap your head around all the concepts, borrowers, checkers. Yeah. What else?
Why Rust,
different languages.
Do you know why Solana choose Rust? If you don't have the answer, it's okay. It's just I don't know why.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not following Solana's history as closely as probably some hardcore Solana people. So I do not have an answer to that off the top of my head. It's a very high performance language. It's a high performance language. Some people say that it's easier than C++. I think it's probably true. And if you're trying to build a high-performance system, you want to have a high-performance fundamentals. I remember back in the day, for those who've been around in 2017, there was this platform called EOS, and EOS chose C++ as also like high-performance delegated proof-of-stake system. And they didn't create their own language. They didn't write anything that is like JavaScript-like. Like, for example, Solidity is a bit more JavaScript in terms of syntax. So yeah, I would think that the guys that working on Solana are pretty smart from systems perspective, and they chose the right language for the job. That's my educated guess. The exact history, how did they decide on this exactly? I do not know. I'm pretty sure someone can tweet about that. Some of their core team members. Anatoly maybe can loop us in.
Yeah, he watched the show, I guess. Big up Anatoly, big A. Yeah.
Come join us, post more jobs. Yeah. Shall I keep on sharing screen? Do you want to see anything else?
No, that's all right. So actually, you show all those numbers, and I was wondering, does the North Korea see those numbers as well? Like, tell us a bit more, because we had a great conversation at the conference about North Korea getting hired in every crypto startups, or a lot of them. And you made yourself, I do on-chain analysis, and you did on applicants analysis to find out. So for people who never heard about how North Korea managed to extract a lot of money from crypto companies. Can you give a summary, please?
Right. So I think there is this. Basically, there are a few data points on North Korea. There is obviously infamous Lazarus Group. I don't have as much details on Lazarus Group. I cannot confirm or deny whether like the people that at least we're seeing are part of Lazarus Group or not. Basically, what I'm seeing is that we do get a lot of, and again, every single job platform in this industry and outside of this industry, they get a lot of applicants from North Koreans basically that disguise themselves as, they claim they're based in Canada, in Europe, in US, and they try to apply to jobs, and they try to either earn salary through jobs, or they try to...
And what's the problem? They can't work, the North Korean?
Say it again.
We don't allow them to work?
Well, I mean, United States has some strict policies on sanctioning North Korea. That's one part. Another part is that if they see an opportunity to rug a project, and it's a crypto project, if they have access to like private keys or they have an opportunity to place a backdoor, they will exercise that opportunity. So that's kind of like the danger, the problem. They also sometimes, they will try to get as many jobs as they can. It's an organized operation, basically.
And what was the scandal about? Like, how many companies realized that they were hiring North Korean and things like that? Like, how much money are we talking?
Right. So again, there are different sources of data. There is no they unfortunately do not share the data with us directly or with anyone in the world. What I've heard, and based on some other research, other partners that we talked to, allegedly, according to like United Nations report, they make up to like $600 million a year combined, all the North Korean workers. Mm-hmm. I think inside and outside of crypto. I think there are some stats about Lazarus Group being responsible for about like $3 billion worth of crypto hacks. There was some other research.
Yeah, I studied them. Yeah, it's pretty big.
Yeah, then there is a separate research by Zach XBT, on the salaries that they're getting, or like how much they're earning a month. Those numbers approximate, up to like $60K a month, or some other sources say, I think like $300K a month. It really, really, there is no one consolidated data. There is no analytics platform for North Koreans, North Korea analytics.
It's too sad.
Yeah, huge business opportunity. Yeah, I can probably comment more in detail of like what I'm seeing and what we are seeing, what we are fighting with, and maybe like some patterns for employers to be aware of and to try to mitigate. So I think some of the patterns are that.
Yeah, let's talk about that, and then let's talk about that, like the patterns that they use. How did you manage to block a part of it? How, as your platform, you did it? And then I think after we can talk about, like, for people who listen, like how they can get a job in crypto if they want to. What are the good tips you would give, except, of course, logging every day on crypto job list?
I think that's the number one tip. I'm sorry. Telegram group as well is a useful tip. So back to North Korea. So the patterns that I'm seeing that I can share is that, well, one, when they apply, interestingly enough, they still upload their real faces or somewhat like AI generated agent faces. And if you look at like multiple of those resumes, you will notice a pattern that it's not your typical whatever Korea or Singapore or Malaysia or Thailand type of face. It's very specific. It's a little bit, there is no life in their eyes, so to say, in those profile pictures. But again, I think it takes like looking at maybe like a 2, 3, 4, 5 of those profile pictures to see the visual pattern there. So that's like that's a small sign. The other sign is that if your applicant tracking system tracks IP addresses or any other like geo IP data, usually their IP address will be not where they claim to actually be based, right? So they use a set of VPNs. There's like one or two specific VPNs. I don't think it would be wise of me to actually share their names of those VPNs because just like if I'll share it, they will probably some of them, they will hear this interview and they will try to cheat and will try to move on to the next one. So it's not going to be an effective way to keep on blocking them. But that's again, like one of the signals
VPNs
is that
are available in North Korea then, because North Korea, their internet is not fully connected to the global internet. So how do they?
So
like,
rumor has it is that
VPNs?
they're being deployed in a few regions in the world. So yeah, I think they're deployed in a few locations in the world. That's to best of my knowledge. I think one of them is Russia, Khabarovsk. I think that's one of the cities they're based in, or I think that's where VPN
is
at. Khabarovsk. It's like it's a place. I think it's close to North Korea somewhere.
Can you show me Khabarovsk? Can you show me on the map?
City. One second. Khabarovsk. Maps. Bam.
Beautiful with the river.
Yeah, it's comfy there. I think. Where's
Zoom
North
out.
Korea?
Like, where are we? Are we in the middle of nowhere? I mean, Russia is always a bit the middle of nowhere.
Well, Russia has a lot of space, you know. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of them are like maybe. This is this still North Korea? Is this part? What is this? North Korea. North Korea is this? I think North Korea ends here, and this is where.
Yeah, hands here.
I wonder if they have like some. 1 second. Let me also make it more easy for you guys. I wonder if there is some like data center there with like some VPNs set up. Physically, I don't know where they're being deployed. I don't think I have like enough data on that. But I'll
just throw a line above the border.
Yeah, it's like a LAN.
I don't know how is the border of
cable.
North Korea. I mean, so we know that the border of South Korea is super locked, but I don't know what it's like at the north. I think the north is locked as well, but maybe not as much. I'm not sure, because anyway, if they escape towards China send them back. So
I don't know how exactly the logistics of it, but I think the key is what can we do about it, right? As a community.
Yeah.
So I think the main advice to companies is like do video calls with those people, and then you will see if they are Asian looking. I mean, no disrespect to all my friends. You know, I live in Singapore. You know, it's North Korea. That's what we're fighting against. English is not really good. They usually apply only for technical roles. I've never seen them apply for a non-technical role. Yeah, make sure their GitHub is legit. When looking at GitHub, don't look at just like forked projects. Look at real contributions and like and really investigate them in depth. Because what I've seen in GitHub is they would like fork a bunch of legit projects, create some like BS PR request to pull request. That's like a lingo on GitHub. Pull request to some other project. I don't know. They will correct some typo or add something to README. And to someone who's not really deep in development, maybe just HR team, some HR teams will be like, this is a legit person. They have so much GitHub activity. Let's hire them. So that's like one signal. They usually have like top dev somewhere in the GitHub name or in email. Make sure their LinkedIn actually like legit, because what I'm also seeing, a lot of LinkedIn accounts, some of them don't even exist, like they're 404. So that's like an easy red flag. Another one is that they would claim they graduated from some legit university, but they have like 100 connections, which it's impossible if you graduated from if you're an engineer and graduated from like a legitimate university. It's almost impossible for you to have like 100 connections only. Like you're gonna have I don't know, 1,000 of them at least, maybe 2,000, 5,000.
Maybe they're just introvert, you know. They must be really just.
Yeah, I devs can be introvert, but like you stack up all these like red flags, and then you'll start seeing a picture.
Yeah.
If it feels suspicious, if your gut tells you that something is off about this guy is trying to be a bit too much anonymous, it's not a good thing. I think that's another problem. People in crypto still think that it's okay to be anon, which is sure, fine, you need to have a really good reputation to be successful while being anon. But like, if you have 100 followers on Twitter and like 100 followers on LinkedIn,
that's a good debate. Like the anon thing, it's not as strong now as like. I mean, the reason to be anon is not that strong anymore. Like I think like for example, like the guys who build Solana, the guys who build Ethereum, they're not anon. So unless you plan to build Bitcoin and then own 0.0 0% of it, or like that everything is out of your control, then okay, yeah, of course, yeah, go full anon. But yeah, it's true that I mean, it changed every bull market, isn't it? Like 2017, I think it was okay to be anon. Last bull market was not so okay to be anon. And then this bull market seems to be like it's okay again to be anon. And then there's going to be massive rugs, massive scams, and people are going to be, okay, now we don't want people who are anon again.
Yeah.
I
mean,
I don't know.
I have mixed feelings on being anon. I mean, like, there are benefits to being anon, especially on Twitter.
Yeah, you can insult everyone and be racist.
and be responsible, and then you don't have anything at stake. Your reputation is not at stake when you shit post.
Yeah.
But I think it's fine. There are still good reasons to be anon out there, but if you want to be anon and work in crypto, you want to maintain that reputation and be consistent about have the same username everywhere, build that reputation, and realize that in certain cases you probably will be like semi-anon, right? Like I do know a few teams that are hiring and successfully been hiring, and then they still KYC the person they're about to hire, and they're still kind of maintain publicly, like maintain public anonymous persona, but they still know each other. They did video calls, so I would.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's we saw that a lot at the conference actually. Tons of people you would meet and then they would say like, you know, who they are now. You see who's behind the Twitter handle and things like that, and then that's how it is. Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
back to our Koreans.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Back to our Koreans. So how did you yourself, if I was hiring on crypto job list, how do you protect me from it? Like, well, what's the, because basically you lay down most of the thing they were doing. You say like the profile, LinkedIn, really low amount, then they use kind of the same connection most of the time. Then also the picture looks pretty similar. The background is similar. So from that, what did you do about it?
Fantastic question. And we did a lot. Yeah, we do have I think for over a year now, probably way more than a year now, we have like a spam filter built in that basically automatically kind of shadow bans those profiles, and you don't even, as an employee, you don't get those applicants. This is again when you use our built-in application system. So like we give companies options. You know, we're so generous. We give out companies options. You can either use your own applicant tracking system, whatever you use, like Lever, Greenhouse, things like this. Please do not use Google Forms or any form product. Just maybe like use our. So anyway, when you use our application flow, we send you applicants to your email. You have a dashboard as well. And we have a process where we automatically kind of shadow ban and prevent those applicants even hitting your inbox. You can still access it inside the dashboard in like a hidden area, just in case. I don't know if you want to see what we are fighting against. But yeah, I think it's kind of interesting. Like for over a year, I had this system, and I was feeling like something is off with these applicants. Because it really, when it comes to jobs, it's really, you want to give everyone an opportunity because everyone deserves an opportunity. But then once you see people abusing, once you get additional information from other sources that they are seeing the similar patterns, it becomes a bit more obvious that, action needs to be taken. This is a scam. This is fraudulent behavior. We do not tolerate that. So I think past month, I doubled down on strictness of our spam filters and double down on filtering certain IP ranges. Come again?
No more French people. They go too much on strike.
French people. As long as we get a lot of French people messaging in our support in French, I think we had this conversation. Please, it's just like every single other nation uses English, and they're like, "Oh, can you please help us?" Everyone, like whatever. I mean, obviously Americans, British people, but also Russians, Spanish, everyone in Europe, Portuguese, whatever, Chinese. Everyone messages us in English, but French people, they're like, "Pourquoi?" Whatever, my French is, I only know pourquoi. And like,
that's legendary, man. Big up to all the French people. Yeah, forcing a way in,
French adoption. But yeah, back to North Koreans, our favorite people. We shadow ban them. We remove them. We don't tell them that we're doing this. But yeah, it's with all these scams, it's always race, right? Because they also try to come up with new patterns, with new ways that they prevent or like not being discovered. Yeah.
Particularly like Kim Jong-un is going to be on the podcast, going to listen to the podcast, take note, and then they're going to change their plan. They're going to be all right.
We
follow Handsome Finance. We're subscribed.
Yes.
Let's go.
We stop using Crypto Job List. They don't let us in. We use other job boards, spam there. We go to LinkedIn, back to LinkedIn.
So you basically trigger all those data points. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Like we can
we try to do as much as we can to look at all data points. If it's too high risk, shadow ban, banned. Bam. Yeah,
that's cool. So now let's get back to making some money, I guess. Could you showcase what would be the best way to use a crypto job list if I wanted to get a job? Let's say, I guess a lot of people on YouTube here, they're going to be interested by marketing, community management, and also development. By the way, this is not a sponsored video by Raman. Like he just do this because he came to my comedy show. So it's like, okay, he paid for the show.
I took pictures from the trenches.
Yeah. They are not good, by the way. Now I can tell you they're really not that good.
Well, you tweeted one of them or two of them, so it's
yeah. That's why I tweeted it and didn't put it on Instagram. That's to showcase the quality. Tweets go to the grave after 30 minutes, you know. So let's launch the website. And let's see if I was today looking for a job, because I'm like, okay, meme coins are fun, but I would like to get paid and trade meme coins at the same time.
Yep, that is possible. What's the advice? The top advice, well, one, be good at what you do. Be really good. Number two, keep applying for jobs.
Helps.
Be competent. I think a lot of people have... It's funny, like the distribution of expectations is like... People who think they're competent, they're usually not so competent. And people who are like, oh, this job is above my requirements and my experience, I should not apply. Those people are the ones that probably should apply. So that's kind of like funny. I don't know how do people need to calibrate that inside of themselves. But I think it's usually better to apply. Keep applying. You're going to get a lot of rejections. You're going to get rejected and then rejected. Weeks will pass by. And then maybe someone will respond. And then...
Enjoy rejection, actually. It's good to get rejected.
Enjoy, If you get rejected, that means that maybe the company is losing out on you. Ignored. Maybe the company...
ignored is painful. There you go.
Yeah, we try to actually fix the ignored part. When sometimes companies, when they look at your application, we automatically try to detect that. And then we send a candidate a notification that like, oh, someone's looking at your application, to give a little bit more, hope that nothing is lost, that, your resume did not just disappear. But unfortunately, we cannot send those notifications to everyone because, tracking where the company opened up, your job description is not always trivial, surprisingly. Anyway, keep applying. Don't be upset if you get rejected or if you don't hear anything. Some technical things, don't copy paste your cover letter. Just write short, clear description why you're a good fit. Don't write like corporate BS. What you were taught in school or in university about applying to jobs is usually BS. Just be, as concrete as possible, as persuasive as possible. Why are you a good fit for this?
Yeah.
Don't use buzzwords. Don't use anything abstract. Be as concrete as you can. We have this option to record a video application. Some people hate it. And I think people who hate it are those who are not, they're probably not competent. They have something to hide. We made this specifically for roles. It's really good for roles that are non-technical, technical too, where you can like just present yourself, be on camera. It's 2024. Everyone doing Zoom calls. Like there's no reason why you should not be applying with a video application. So companies love this feature. They use it. Sometimes it's optional. Sometimes it's required, this video application. So do it, show your personality. It's a feature. It's not a bug. What are some other advice? Be realistic about salary expectations. I think we chatted about it earlier. Your salary will still be probably calibrated to where you're based on your experience. Another rule of thumb is sometimes people ask for crazy salary increase, and this is, I think, a bad approach. I think a good rule of thumb is to ask for no more than about 20% increase relative to your previous salary. because otherwise people shoot themselves in the foot. They're asking for ridiculous numbers. And that's like, they're just shooting themselves in the foot. Like sometimes you get like content writer or community manager apply for a job. They're based in the middle of like not in a top city, and they ask for something. And it's just the immediate red flag to hiring manager that they do not know what the market rates are. They do not know what they're talking about. Massive gap between what their skills and what they ask for. Immediate rejection.
As for my side, when I do hiring, is you have to think it as a relationship always. So it's like you're not gonna show up on your Tinder date and say, all right, so that's my expectation. So now you're gonna cook for me. You're gonna do that for me. You're gonna help me. This people are gonna be what? No. And what should be is like, all right, like we can start on a lower one. And what should I reach? What kind of goal should I reach to unlock the next level of salary? And if I reach that, then we can go up to the next level. And then as manager, as hiring, it's like always people are going to say yes. You say, okay, if you prove that you can bring output to the company, of course, because it's so bad for a company to start with a high salary. Because the company is just like, of course, maybe they make some money, maybe they make okay money, but it's like the cash. They can't just pay everyone arrive 5K, 10K per month, and then not even sure, because you should want the success of the company, because when the company succeed, you succeed as well. It's much easier to find another role in another company as well. So it's like what you're going to bring to them, it's at stake. I mean, it's just at looking like everyone who is like saying ex Facebook, ex Tesla or whatever, they get hired so easily because they work probably, or they participate in some way to make their company successful. I think.
I think it's a really good point that you make about relationship, that I think people forget that it is a relationship, especially people who are, both companies, especially smaller companies or first-time founders or early-stage founders, but also applicants sometimes forget that it's really a relationship, that it's, I think dating is always a good example, but it's a little bit different type of relationship. A lot of talent and companies, they think it's like, they take it for granted, right? Like, oh, I deserve a job just because I'm remote and I'm online. There's 4 billion people on the internet. Like everyone's remote, if not more than 4 billion people right now. But it's you should not be like entitled. Like you want to understand that every company is different. No job is exactly the same. It's different roles. If it was exactly the same, those jobs are already automated. You want to be like, think creatively what value you can add to the company, research them in advance, start adding value to the company. Don't even ask for permission. Like especially if you're a dev, I think it's relatively much easier, right? Like you see someone's GitHub, you start contributing in a meaningful way, not in a bullshit way of like creative PR, fixing typos in README, which is also can be sometimes useful for technical writing jobs, where if you're like writing docs and you genuinely meaningfully improve docs of certain project, that is like a really good signal. So companies would, it's a no-brainer for them to hire, right? It's a clear signal that a person can deliver, they can self-orient, they can work. They don't need to be told what to do every single day. This is the type of talent companies want, right? So be that if you're applying.
Be that guy. I actually check because for my boys into the meme coin industry, I typed meme in the research. There's a beautiful job here. Social media manager, 80 to 92K about posting memes and thread on Twitter.
Yeah.
For Ryrie. Yep. I was like, that's perfect. I could do that. I closed. And then actually it's funny, it's like the person who posted that, she used the meme of Mudang, the good hippo. It's like, okay, they post a bit of meme.
Beautiful.
I mean, to be fair, like creating good meme and creating good content on X is a real skill. It's really valuable. It's really hard to do. But if you're good at this, can do like most people I see, like they will use AI bullshit or whatever. But it's like you got to be so original on those platforms.
People think.
Cool. So like
people think all these non-technical roles are super easy, like you just post JPEGs on Twitter, and it's not. You need to have like really spot on sense of humor. You really need to know what community wants right now. Needs to be relevant, writing on certain like meme trend or some. I'm not talking about meme coin as meme trend, but like just whatever people are talking about right now, right? Like, is it FTX that people are talking about right now? Is it something else that people talk about right now? Needs to be relevant, spot on, not too aggressive, not too soft as well. Like, it's a super challenging position, to be honest.
Yeah, it is. And then you need to have a deep understanding of human psychology. Because, and like trends, like if you don't understand how people are going to react, what's the funny about it? Like, that's why, like, I mean, a comedy in a way is something that it requires skills, because for something to be funny, it needs to be in some way original. And you get tons of label. I love it here. What is for you? Oh, I need to create a profile.
Yeah, we did a AI matching thing.
And all that. Oh, that's beautiful. Man, yeah, it's pretty cool. Oh, well, we see some memes here, actually. I mean, cool. Nice. Any, are you DJing a little bit? Are you in the trenches a bit?
Oh, very, very tiny bit. Not as much as you are. I mean, it's hard to out meme out trenches you. Yeah, I mean, like, well, to be honest, I don't trade ODGN as much these days. I just buy and hold and accumulate and hold. But yeah, I do have some, like, Pepe. That's my favorite. Should have been wearing my Pepe shirt. I have like a Pepe shirt.
Pepe on Ethereum or Pepe on Solana?
Pepe on a centralized exchange. Shame on me.
We don't know. No, but which chain though?
I think it's on
Pepe.
ETH.
There's Solana Pepe and
it's the ETH
probably
Pepe.
Yeah, the biggest one is on ETH. Yeah,
ETH
Pepe.
Pepe.
Yeah.
On a SEX, on a centralized exchange.
Oh wow.
Deep I mean, like,
do you have other meme coins? Like, what's your long-term play for this bull market if we have a bull market?
Right. Sell. I think the hardest part for a lot of people is just to press the sell button. I think I'm one of those people who are trying to find the right time.
But you don't need to sell. If you can hold it, like, you don't need to sell, because where are you going to put your cash?
Well, like, you put it in USDC and stable coins, put in the yield, by
yeah, but then you start to be like trading and trying to identify the top and the bottom, which 0.00001% managed to do. So
the key is
we come back to how
competent
are you as predicting the thing. It's true. Like, if people were honest with themselves, it's like, am I a skilled trader? Like, can I? And then most people will be like, okay, I'm not. Okay, all right.
I made this decision many years ago to make not more than like a few trades a quarter, because I think there are different time intervals.
That's really smart.
That people trade on. Like, some people do day trading, some people make week trading, month trading, every month, some people just
I do hourly trading, or like sometime in the space of like 10-15 minutes.
Trudy Jan. I know, people do scalping, a bunch of other trading, and I realized that I like building stuff, I like shipping code, I like building products, and I don't want to not sleep at night because of certain like long short leveraged position that I opened, and I'm afraid of losing money in the market. So I realized I don't want to do that, and I just want to like make these rebalancing decisions maybe quarterly. I think during like high volatility times, during high volume times, those like it's way more tempting to do day buys, day sells. But I guess like learning for me personally, I think DCA is not hard. I mean, DCA is easy. Dollar cost average for those who are entering the game. But to dollar cost average out,
buying at regular intervals.
Yeah, but it's selling at regular intervals. It's another. I think few people talk about that.
Do you actually have like an insight when it's bull market or bear market from your website, from the data you have? Like, can you spot on before? Like, it's the same as when the volume comes, the number of jobs.
I think it's not. It's definitely super highly correlated. Like, there was, I don't know, 80% correlation there, but it's not particularly like it's a little bit of a lagging indicator, but it's maybe lagging by maybe a week, maybe less than a week, depends. But you can definitely see very clearly that Bitcoin and market spikes even by 10%. You can see increase in number of job posts being added, in aggressiveness, in the budgets for hiring, and the same thing when the market goes down. Companies like freeze hiring, they don't post as many jobs, because future is uncertain. They do not know if the market is going to go to back to zero again.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I would. Let me think. Yeah, I mean, I have like I think on our trends page we have like a number of jobs posted, and in the bottom there is the same Bitcoin chart, so you can like draw a correlation yourself. I probably should be improving that chart so it's even easier to draw conclusions and to see the correlation. But there's definitely like about 8% correlation there. Between just like bullness of the market and how aggressive companies are hiring, number of jobs, money that is being spent on hiring.
That's amazing. Well, thank you, Raman, for all those insights on finding some jobs and also on how to copy the model of North Korea so we can all try
apply to
get
as many
hired in
jobs,
as many as company as we can. Yeah, that was amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Antoine. Thank you so much for having me. It was really a pleasure. I relaxed vibe. I should have been relaxed also from the start. It's the most relaxed podcast, the most handsome and the most relaxed.
Yeah. Great jawline on your side, man.
We're 2xing handsomeness today. I'm doing 0.1x and you're doing 1.9x. You're the leading in the handsomeness area.
Thank you. All right, see you later.
All right, thanks, man.